The Cattle Post Ghost. Let me take you to a quiet village in the heart of southern Africa where the Tswana people have lived for generations. Our story centers on a family from the Matswana clan, specifically a wise old man named Kosi, his daughter Naledi, and her young son Tlampo. They live in a simple homestead surrounded by rolling grasslands where cattle are more than just animals. They are a sign of wealth, pride, and connection to their ancestors. This tale takes place not so long ago, just a few decades back, when modern life was beginning to touch even the most remote villages. But traditions, especially those honoring ancestors, still held strong. Now, Kosi was the clan's elder, a man who carried the stories and customs of their people like a precious treasure. Now, Ludi, his daughter, respected these ways, but was also curious about the changing world. Little Tlampo, bright and full of questions, loved listening to his grandfather's stories by the fire. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep shade of purple, something strange happened at the cattle post, the place where the family's herd was kept safe overnight. The air was still, no wind whispered through the trees. But then, faintly at first, a distant ringing sound began to echo. It wasn't the jangling of the usual bells tied to the cattle's necks. Those were silent. Instead, it was a clear, steady ringing, like a bell tolling far away. Naledi and Kosi exchanged worried glances. No wind, Kosi murmured. And yet, the night bells ring. This is a sign. You see, in Tswana beliefs, such strange sounds at night often mean that an ancestor is trying to speak. Ancestors, the wise ones who came before, watch over the family. They want respect and proper honor, especially when it comes to important things like the health of the cattle. The cattle were the family's livelihood, food, trade, even marriage arrangements often depended on them. The next morning, the family noticed something troubling. The cattle were listless, refusing to eat, and some had swollen joints. The village veterinarian was called, but no clear disease could be found. Everyone was puzzled and anxious. Kosi sat down with Naledi and the village elders. The ancestor wants a rite, he said firmly. We have forgotten the ceremony. That is why the cattle suffer. You see, the clan had been so busy adapting to new ways, using modern medicines, trading in town, that some old rituals had been quietly set aside. But the ancestors do not forget. They remind us in their own way. The elders agreed to hold a ceremony again, a ritual calling for respect, asking the ancestors' forgiveness, and promising to keep their traditions alive. They gathered the family and neighbors, prepared offerings like fresh milk, and sang old songs that echoed under the stars. As the ceremony unfolded, something shifted. The ringing bells stopped, replaced by a peaceful silence. Over the next days, the cattle began to recover slowly but surely. Their appetite returned, and their strength grew. The family celebrated not just because the animals were healthy again, but because they had remembered something essential. This story teaches us how honoring our ancestors isn't just about old stories or rituals, it has practical meaning. Sometimes when we forget where we come from, life reminds us gently or not so gently that the past and present are connected. The ancestors are part of the community, watching, guiding, and yes, sometimes asking for respect. Think of it like this. If you have a garden and you stop watering it or caring for the soil, the plants will wither. The ancestors are like the soil. If we don't nourish that connection, the whole garden suffers. So the Matswana clan restored their rituals, made sure the young ones learned the songs and stories, and kept the night bells ringing only when the wind truly blew. And that, my friends, is the story of the Cattle Post Ghost, a gentle but powerful reminder that honoring those who came before us brings life and health to those who come after.